Namaste. Good morning, guys. My name is Mr. Golis, and I'm going to be your honors physics teacher for the year. I wanted to make a short video to post on Classroom because I know the first day is just distance learning. So, and the first day, I don't have much for you. I just wanted to do a quick intro. So I hope you can appreciate that. You know, I'm not like throwing a whole bunch at you on the first day, or actually even during the first couple of weeks while we're supposed to be doing all distance learning, because it's just kind of hard to do an effective course on distance learning. But you know, we'll do what we have to do. So anyway, I just wanted you to be able to see me and hear me, so you know who I am, what I sound like, that sort of thing, and also just tell you a little bit about myself and the course, and just how we're going to go about things until things get back to normal, which hopefully will be as soon as possible. Okay, so anyway, so here I am. This is kind of our distance learning format. Well, actually, let me start this way. All right, so I'm Mr. Golis, and okay, so at the time I'm making this video, this is my 26th year teaching. So I've been doing this for a while. All right. This is a physics course. In this course, since this is honors physics, I should have juniors and seniors, and there are certain expectations that go with that. Obviously, you guys are the older kids in the school, and I kind of treat you that way. If you're in an honors physics course, I am told by my boss, who is a representative of your parents who pay me to teach you as if you are going to attend a 4-year institution when you get out of here. All right, juniors, you have a little more time, but seniors, you have about 8 months, 10 months of the easiest time of your life left, and that's really the way it is. Okay, so I know you guys are all happy because hey, we're seniors and stuff, but the reality is there should be some mixed feelings there. You should be happy, but you also need to be a little bit serious because it's over in about 10 months for real. And part of my job is to help you get ready for that also. Okay, so that's how we're going to go about that, and we're going to have, you know, that's my expectation. Okay, and my expectation is that you kind of respond that way too, with a certain seriousness. If you're in an honors physics course, you kind of have to have a certain level of seriousness. Many students find honors physics to be challenging. All right, some of you guys get it just like that, and good for you. Many will not, and you'll need to work at it. Physics is the science that studies it's the broadest of all sciences. I'm not putting that above the other sciences like chemistry or biology by any means. Both of those fields of study are obviously important areas of study to human beings and our technology in general. But just to talk about what physics studies, it's the broadest area in that, to contrast it, biology studies life, chemistry studies atoms, physics basically studies everything else about the universe, basically how the universe works. And we are heavily mathematically based. It's going to feel like a math course at times because we use a lot of equations. That's what physics does, is we're the science that comes up with, we literally write equations for the universe, okay, to describe how the universe works mathematically. That's a tradition started by Galileo 500 years ago. It was solidified, well, close to 500 years ago. It was solidified by Isaac Newton after Galileo in a very solid way, and that's been the tradition of this science ever since, is to generate equations to describe how the universe works, and that's what we're going to be doing. As such, make sure you have a decent calculator. A scientific calculator is good. Now, you don't have to have a calculator that has the big screen on it, although if you're probably taking one of the advanced math courses, you're going to have it for those courses anyway. But you don't need to have it. You just need a calculator that has trigonometric functions on it. So you need one that has sines, cosines, tangent, and the reverse. So arc sine, arc cosine, arc tangent on it, and square root, stuff like that. You're going to need that. Don't rely on your phone for that. When we get going and back in the classroom again, we have these things in the classroom. We have calculators in the classroom, but they're not that expensive either to get the cheaper ones. All right, so you probably want to have one if you don't. For distance learning, obviously that cuts out our ability to do a lot of hands-on activities, which we do fairly frequently in this course and will do again when we're back in the classroom. Suffice to say, I will expect that you get yourself a ruler and a protractor. So make sure you get yourself a ruler and a protractor if you don't already have one of these things in your house. If you don't, go to CVS, go to Walmart. They're cheap. A plastic ruler is like 50 cents to $1. Same thing with a protractor. If you need one in a pinch, or if you just want to do this, you can Google printable protractor and printable ruler. Seriously, you can do this. And literally a template will come up and you can just print one out, cut it out on the piece of paper, and use the temporary paper ruler and paper protractor, and that works too. Okay, so it's not as good as I think a plastic one, because plastic ones are oftentimes, in this class, we'll use as straight edges because we do a lot of graphing, and we'll do graphing on the computer, but I stress, and this is part of my philosophy with you guys, I stress doing things the old ways first, because I'll get into that later when I actually see you guys face to face. But I do stress, doing things by hand first, because part of my philosophy is learn the old ways. You will have the rest of your life to use the technology, and you will. But never forget how to use the old ways. And I'll tell you stories about things like that and why that's my philosophy. Okay, but we'll do a lot of stuff by hand too. We'll do both. All right, but we will not neglect graphing and doing math actually by hand. So make sure you have a ruler and a protractor, and get those as soon as possible, because we should be starting activities with those via distance learning that you can do in your house with a protractor and ruler, like right away. Okay, so make sure you have those things. Okay, a little bit about me. All right, so I already said this is my 26th year teaching, so I've been doing this a while. I tend to be a mixture of laid back and strict. I try and maintain a balance. Sometimes I'm very strict with you guys. Sometimes while we're learning, and I know we're learning something hard and new, I tend to be a little more laid back. All right, so I'm kind of a mixture. All right, and I think you'll come to learn that and discover that about me. I'm kind of a mixture of the old and the new, as I just kind of stated. Technology is fine, nothing wrong with it. I'm not one of these adults that tries to fight technology. I don't do that at all. But I also know the value of doing things the old way also, because as we see, every time there's a decent storm in Rhode Island, the technology can fail, all right, and does fail, all right, and when it does fail, if you know how to do things the old way, suddenly you guys become the most valuable people in the room, in the company that you're working for, and that sort of thing. So I want you guys to know to have a fallback, which are the old ways. So being able to make a graph with a ruler and a protractor by hand can be valuable. All right. All right. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm a mixture of the old and the new. It also comes from my background too. Okay, I have several degrees. My first degree, my bachelor's degree, is from St. Bonaventure University, and it's actually in physics, not education. Many teachers have degrees in education. First, that's their primary bachelor's degree. That's not the case with me. I actually have a solid bachelor's degree in physics, so it's the first discipline I actually learned at the higher ed level. I have 30 graduate credits in graduate physics. All right, I'm 6 credits short of my master's in physics. I could tell you that story later, but I never finished my thesis. It's a thing. I was a graduate student in physics at URI. That's how I came into Rhode Island and then decided to go into teaching from there. And I'll tell you that story later as you guys get to know me and stuff like that. Anyway, so that's who I am. I paid for college by getting an ROTC scholarship. And so once I got out of college, I was in the Army for a period of time, all right, as an officer. So I think sometimes you'll see that strictness come out, okay, in me. And because I was in the Army and I was, as they like to call themselves, a grunt, a ground pounder, I am not adverse to doing things by hand, getting my hands dirty, fixing things, putting together machines, taking things apart. I'm kind of a mixture of that kind of intellectual book learning and hands-on, because that's kind of how you have to be as an Army officer. All right, you have to be able to think, but you also need to be able to use your equipment and know it very well, all right, and be able to get on the ground with everybody else. So, that's kind of my philosophy, and I think that's a good philosophy, and it's kind of how I live my life, all right. So, in all told, I spent like 12 years between the reserves and the active duty Army. I spent about 12 years in the Army. So, that kind of, I think you'll find out that kind of comes across in my teaching and the way we interact and kind of my expectations for you guys. Okay, so there's that. All right, so I will expect that and this is part of the military background, that when I put something up there online, or if I put the instructions in class, and you'll see, I will always write what we're doing for the day. When we get back to normal, it will be always will be on the board. And I expect that you follow those things, okay? And so on and so forth. I will expect that if there's a problem, you get to me, all right? If you're absent, if you're sick, something like that, you have to contact me. I know you're unique and special. I got it, all right, but I have over 100 students. I do every year, and I'm going to forget that you're absent. I might mark you absent that day, and then an hour and a half later, when I am in front of another group of students, I'm totally going to forget that you weren't there that day. So you need to get with me, okay? And you need to make up stuff in an appropriate amount of time. And I'm sure every teacher will reiterate that similar philosophy. I teach with a certain knowledge because I am a teacher that has been doing this a while. And what does that mean? Well, 26 years of teaching, or 25 full years of teaching, means that I have watched my students grow up. So I teach you with the knowledge that you are not going to stay 16 and 17. In fact, I've been teaching long enough to actually be working with my students, all right? There are teachers in this very building, when we get back to the high school, that I have taught. They were my students when they were your age. My original students from the 90s are in their 40s right now with families and jobs, and they pay taxes, and they do all that adult stuff. I think, and I am not joking about this, I have taught approximately half of the Coventry, Rhode Island police force at this point, that have sat in front of me when they were your age. So I teach with the knowledge in my head that I'm probably going to be seeing you out there in the world as an adult. And I take that seriously because I think your parents want this too. We want you to be a certain adult. And that's not putting expectations on you. That's not telling you how to live your life by any means. I have 4 children, and I don't tell them how to live their life. But I do have expectations that they are good people and that they are responsible people who work hard, because that is what society needs. And whatever direction you choose to go in life, and good for you. Be an artist. I'm not one of these teachers, because I teach science, that pushes science. No, no. We need artists. We need journalists. We need plumbers in this society. We need electrical engineers. We need financial consultants. We need lawyers, all right? We need these people. So go do all of those things. But I want you, whatever you do, to be a responsible person who makes good decisions, because that's the type of person, that's the type of adult that your parents want you to be. And since your parents pay me, and since I'm going to be out there with you, I want you to be. Okay? So that is how I teach you guys. Through my own little area of expertise, which is the science of physics. What do responsible adults do? They follow instructions. They are where they are supposed to be on time. Stuff like that. So if I give you instructions online or on the actual chalkboard, I will expect that they are followed. Okay? So that's the deal with that. All right? So that's kind of a little bit about me, where I'm coming from, and where the course is going. Okay? I just wanted to show you this. All right, when we are distance learning, sometimes I will do the Screencastify thing. I mean, I don't get many teachers like, there are some teachers like Mr. Rockwell and things like that know all these different methods and that's it. I tend to learn a few methods of online teaching, and then I kind of stick with them. And I do learn new things, but I learn them slowly. I like to master certain things first. So basically, it's going to be like a Screencastify type of presentation that I will just either put on Google Classroom for you, or I will make an Edpuzzle out of, all right? Or I will actually make videos of me in front of this chalkboard. So this is that combination of the old and the new sort of thing. I found this when we started the quarantine, last year, that I dragged out this old chalkboard in my room, or in my house that was in one of my kids' rooms, and I set it up in my room. As you can see, I'm in my bedroom right now. Whatever. So, and I actually solved problems on this for students during my office hours. And when we were doing synchronous learning, sometimes I will be in front of this, okay? And I will actually get on the old chalkboard and start putting notes on there and solving some problems for you. And I'll take your questions on this. So now I think I have a decent enough camera and decent enough lighting in here that you should be able to see this. It's obviously not as good as the chalkboard that is in the room, okay, the actual classroom, but until we get to that, you could be, we'll be doing this, and we'll be doing Screencastify. And yes, some of the Edpuzzles are from Sal Khan or made by other teachers, and that's just because of the sheer volume of things that I have to teach, not just with honors physics, but I also teach physical science. I teach the freshmen, the little guys, and I teach the technical physics course for the automotive kids. And next semester I'll also be teaching forensics, and I also teach AP Physics, which some of you will elect to take next year. Probably the ones who want to become engineers. Usually the kids who want to become engineers in the class will take AP as juniors, will take AP Physics as a senior. Okay, so I got all of that stuff I got to take care of. So some of the Edpuzzles and activities will be canned activities, and I apologize for that. I like to do my own stuff as much as possible, because you are my students and I am your teacher. So I like to interact with you even virtually as much as possible, then give you Sal Khan's video. But some things can't be helped. Okay? All right. So this first day, obviously, if you're watching this, I know you're on Classroom. You must have gotten my email with the code, and I just want to make sure I'm covering this stuff. Oh, I should have sent you a code to get on explorelearning.com for the gizmos, which I don't like to use. But when we're doing distance learning, we kind of have to do that sort of thing. So make sure you get on to Explore Learning and enroll in the class. Make sure you get yourself a protractor, a ruler, and you're also going to need a scientific calculator. You don't need a fancy one, just one that has a sine, cosine, tangent on it and a square root. Okay? Probably most of you guys already have that already if you're taking an advanced math class. So, okay. So that's it. Namaste. Welcome to Honors Physics in the school year, and I hope we have a good year. So, see you guys hopefully soon.